You're listening to the Art Cityscape. Welcome to the Art Cityscape podcast. This is the second edition of the Springville Rumor Mill. We asked you on our Instagram story to share some things that might be going on in Springville City so that we can clear up any confusion and tell you whether the rumors are true or false. We've got an answer for nearly all of your submissions. Some answers are more in-depth and some are rapid fire. Our answerers for this edition are Public Works Director Brad Stapley, Community Development Director Josh Yost, and Director of Administrative Services Patrick Money. We hope you enjoy it. Now on to the rumors. True or false? The recycling collected in Springville goes straight to the landfill and doesn't get recycled.
So really that's a false statement. We have about 600 tons per year of recycle that we take to the solid waste district, and about 85 to 90% of that makes it all the way up to the waste management facility that actually processes that recycled material. So we're doing really good in Springville.
True or false? There's an interchange coming to 1600 South that will allow people to get off and on I-15. And if it's true, what else can you tell us about it?
And that is true. There is. Phase 1 starts actually this summer, and that's the rerouting of the frontage roads. And so they'll be doing some work there by the freeway, moving the frontage roads away so that they can put the on and off ramps in. Later in the following year, they'll start construction on the widening of the roadway itself that would go all the way to SR 51 there by the T-Bone in Springville.
True or false? There will be a roadway on 1200 West that goes all the way through Springville and connects Provo and Spanish Fork.
That is true. The roadway is 1200 West. Right now, the city has funding for the pilot road, which would be one northbound and one southbound lane, which would more or less is going to be the east side of the roadway going north and south. But we have that from Spanish Fork all the way up to Highway 75, which is just the north side of Springville by the Nestle's factory there. This roadway is an arterial roadway when it's totally finished. 2 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound. It'll take a lot of traffic off 950 West and also through traffic to get to Provo besides just the freeway or Highway 89.
True or false? Springville City is hard to work with for building and development.
I have to choose C, which is depends on what hard is and a number of other questions. We are actually very responsive when we're working with developments to do development applications in terms of site plans or building permits. We move those through the process as fast or much faster than other cities when we have developers come, especially from out of state. And they say, well, how long will it take us to go through site plan? And we say, well, we'll get your initial review back in 2 weeks. They're often surprised at the speed that we can move our processes. We've found that the biggest variable in how long it takes to get something approved is not on the city side. It's actually how long the applicant takes to provide the revisions and provide the new plans to address the comments that we make when we review it. On the other hand, it may be viewed as difficult that we adhere to our code and that we require developments and businesses to follow the rules that the City Council has established by adopting the code. And we try to treat everyone equally and fairly in administering that code. But Springville is a great place with a high quality of life, and some of those code elements are harder or require more effort from a business or from a development than other towns may, and that could be viewed as difficult. But we view it as maintaining the quality of life and the standards of development that our council's given us.
There have been several rumors about a front-runner station coming to Springville. Is it true or false that we will be getting a front-runner station and that it will be near the rec center?
True. This is where I get to drop some jargon. The UTA and other partner organizations, UDOT and cities in this area, completed last year a process called an alternatives analysis, which is a process that you go through for a project to determine what the best outcome is. And that process selected a locally preferred alternative, more jargon, of a frontrunner line from Provo to Payson with additional bus service to Santaquin. So that was our first step, and now UTA is currently going through what's called an environmental process, which is another federal process where we assess the impacts of the proposed project. Once we get done with that and get a sign-off from essentially from the EPA saying we've met the standards, we've done what needs to be done, then we can start looking for funding and start doing some preliminary engineering. So the process is farther along than it's ever been, and it is correct that the station is planned at this point to be located between 400 South and 950 South on the east side of the Sharp Line, so the westernmost rail. So essentially somewhere in the field west of the rec center.
True or false? WinCo, the grocery store, is coming to Springville north of 400 South across from Smith's.
False. There is no plans for a WinCo to locate anywhere in Springville at the moment. So sorry, WinCo fans.
True or false? The Art City Trolley is not reopening.
I don't know if that's true or false. Currently, they are closed. They initially were closed for remodeling purposes, and I have since heard that they may not be reopening, but I haven't validated that yet.
True or false? A dog park is in the works.
That is false. There is no dog park in the works.
This is not a true or false question, but what is being built between Smith's and the rec center?
So currently between the Smiths and the rec center, there's a mixed-use building that's being built that'll have commercial on the ground floor and apartments or condos above. And I think that that's kind of a trend that we'll see in the next while here with Springville to help us both commercially and with the housing issue.
True or false? The Rodeo Arena is being expanded into an indoor arena and fairgrounds.
False. We are expanding seating capacity down there with the remodeling of the high school. We were able to purchase or have donated to the city the visitor bleachers. And so that'll be installed down there. And we're excited for that to help accommodate the growth and the popularity of the rodeo. But there is no current plan to put that indoor.
True or false? The city keeps blocking building plans for Ellen's block.
That is false. There are actually plans that are currently being considered and have been under the works for about a year now. So we're excited to see this come to fruition. There's been a lot. It's a little more complicated than just, the city is blocking plans. The city is not blocking plans. That there are zoning and ordinances that have to be met.
True or false? The police chief refuses to hire ex-military.
False.
True or false? There's a Ninja Warrior course being built at the park near Sage Creek.
False.
True or false? We are working on plans to expand the rec center.
That has been discussed. We are not currently working on any plans, but there has been discussions about ways that we can expand the rec center. But currently it is false.
True or false? Mapleton and other cities help respond to our fire and EMS calls. Does this mean that we're understaffed?
It's a little more complicated than that. The answer is true. They do help us often, and we also help them. There's a lot of interlocal agreements between communities like Springville, Mapleton, Spanish Fork, Provo, where we assist each other in emergencies. It's very difficult to try and think that any one city, especially the size of ours, or Mapleton, or Spanish Fork, or even Provo, that could be fully staffed to handle every call every time. Now, I will let you know that Springville has recently stepped up its level of service in the fire department, and we are bringing on 9 new full-time firefighters to help assist the growth that we have here in Springville.
True or false? Chick-fil-A wanted to come to Springville but got turned down by the city.
False. Yeah, we never have received a business permit or a request for Chick-fil-A to come to Springville.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Thanks for your submissions of rumors. We want to thank especially on this episode Brad Stapley, Josh Yost, and Patrick Money, who were on here to answer our questions. We'll see you again in your feed soon. Have an excellent day.